All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to CJS 190 Race, Crime, and Justice. Just a little background, this is a different kind of class. While this is a criminal justice class and we are going to look at it from a lens of criminal justice, this is a very heavy sociology and psychology and philosophy uh, type class. So, if you've had me before, you're familiar that this is the stuff that I do like to do and talk about as well. Um, but do know that if you're expecting a traditional criminal justice class, this is not really it. But we're going to view this entire topic through the lens of criminal justice. All right. So, race, crime, and justice. I'm Mr. Wheaton. Standard boilerplate things. My office number is here. I do get that. That is my phone number for work stuff. Email is the best way to get a hold of me. awheaton2 at AC3 at ec3pa.org. I do have a physical office at the West Campus, room 215. So if you happen to be there on campus and you want to meet with me and ask questions, let me know. I can be there. Typically, because all of my classes are online this semester, I'm not in my physical office a lot of the times unless I have an actual meeting on campus. But it's not far away from me, so I can always be there. I can also show up to any of the other campuses if needed. Uh, just make sure you're informing me and we set up a time. For the most part, my office hours, which are for students, not my other work, it's for you, for students. I am available every weekday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. There are some weeks where I have appointments and meetings that I have to go to for my job here. When those happen, I will let you know if I'm unavailable. But always, make appointments. Feel free to reach out to me. 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on the weekdays. Unless I have a meeting, I am glued to my computer, glued to my phone and my email. So if you reach out to me, I'm usually responding. In general, though, please give me 24 hours to respond to an email. If it's an emergency, I try to get back to it as soon as humanly possible. If it's something that's not a big emergency, it might not be right away. But if you don't hear back within 24 hours and you had a question, poke me, ask me again. I do get a lot of emails because I also don't just teach at EC3, I do other things, so I get a lot of emails. Anyway, so race, crime, and justice. This is all about the nature, function, and causes of crime in society, and we're looking at how race and criminology intersect. Obviously, if you've been paying attention to the news over the last, for a long, long time, but really the last decade has been heavily racially charged. This is looking right at that stuff. So the this is one of the few classes where I'm actually going to say the student learning objectives by the end of this class. You should be able to roughly describe classic and contemporary theories of criminology, analyze crime using sociological theories and methods in the study of this, understand the history of race and crime in the United States, and identify contemporary issues in the relationship between race and crime. How that really looks in all reality is that you can identify how theories of criminology and sociology and how race and crime operates and how they kind of blend together and work together and sometimes work against each other. And you'll be able to look at issues of police brutality and systemic racism and go, oh, it's because of this. This is how this connects here. And while there may not be a direct answer, an easy answer, you can at least identify and you can see that this is why blank leads into blank. It's not that, you know, you're not going to leave this class being an expert in this, but this is a chance for you to get a better understanding more than just the traditional. And I see it all over the place because I am a denizen of the internet. ACAB, the acronym All Cops Are Bastards. Obviously, that is a very strong statement that's out there. We will analyze things like that in relation to this. And hopefully, you get a better idea of how this all works together. So, in general, this is a very broad topical outline, but I wanted to provide it for you. We're going to talk about the history of this issue. We're going to talk about public opinion. We're going to look at victimization because that is a big issue with race and crime and justice in the American system. We're going to look at policies, and we're going to look at the future of the field because that's something we need to identify. So for this class, Race, Crime, and Justice, there is an actual textbook for it, The Continuing Dilemma in America, or The Continuing American Dilemma. This is the textbook right here. The ISBN is here. You can get it through our bookstore, which is the Barnes & Noble app that's connected on your My Apps when you sign in. I will talk briefly about the book here when we talk about the actual schedule. But typically, this course has a SOC 101 prerequisite or instructor consent. I don't know if anyone has had either of those necessarily required for this class because I've seen a lot of people in this class. Since this is the first time we're teaching it, we're going to just kind of let that slide. But that is something to note, is that you should have an understanding of SOC 101 or basics of sociology before diving into this class. So in this class, really, there's only three things. There's going to be a final exam. So you will have a decently sized test. That's 175 points. It's a lot of points, which some people get scared with a lot of points. It just means there's a lot of room to make mistakes. That's how I look at it. So there is a final exam. There is a Court of Public Opinions project worth a total of 175 points. We'll talk about that a little bit later. It's a course-long project. It'll make sense once we start talking about it. And then there's going to be weekly discussion board posts. While this is an 8-week class, we are going to have 10 total worth 10 points each. Just to be completely straightforward with you, some weeks I feel like we will need more than one discussion board, just simply because there's enough content to break it up into one focused and a second focused, rather than having this giant large one, because nobody's going to read 8 paragraphs from one student. You'll probably read 3 paragraphs from one student and 3 paragraphs from another. So I know it's more work for you to write, but it's going to be stuff that people will actually read instead of just skimming. As usual, the rest of the syllabus for the most part is pretty straightforward. Attendance policy, we're an online class. You have to turn things in on the day they're due. I make sure those due dates are available as humanly soon as possible. So those things are straightforward. Withdraw and incomplete dates. The important things are semester begins on the 10th. Last day to drop classes for a full refund is the 12th. It's also the last day you can add any new classes for the second half. Not super important to you. Well, actually, yes. April 17th, Monday, April 17th is participation verification day. If you have not participated in this class in any way, shape, or form, whether you've not emailed me, you've not submitted any work, you haven't done anything like that, you will be dropped from the class. That is the day. April 19th is the last day to drop the class with a 50% refund. Midterm, we don't have a midterm break, but May 7th, Sunday is midterm technically, so it's not really important to you, but midterm grades will be turned in on the 8th roughly, possibly the 5th on that Friday before. In the end, all it means is that whatever you have in Blackboard at that point will be submitted to the school. That's not final. Your midterm doesn't show up on your transcript or anything. That is just this is where you are halfway through. The final grade's the important piece. May 17th is the last day to withdraw from the course, getting a W grade. May 29th is Memorial Day, so we're closed. June 5th, that Monday after, that is our last day of class. That is the official end of the semester. Final grades are due that Saturday. Well, technically that Friday the 9th. So we'll talk about that here in just a bit. But those are the important dates. After 75% of the course is done, if you are in good standing in this course and life happens, you cannot finish the class in the previously set amount of time. If you communicate with me and say, hey, I think I might need an incomplete, this is an emergency kind of thing, but we would be able to set up a new timeline for when assignments would be due. You will still have to complete those by the new due date, or you will receive zeros for the assignments. But this is, again, for emergencies only, things that are outside of normal human control. ADA statement: if you have any kind of disability related accommodations that you need, extended test time, flexible due dates, things like that, please reach out to Andrea Campbell. She is our college counselor and our disabilities counselor. She also tends to be the student success coach in my classes. If she is, that's great. I'll mention it. If not, sorry, I totally led you astray. But she's the person to talk to. Veteran services, we're not able to certify at this time, but if you have any issues, whether you're active or a veteran, reach out to our Dean of Students. Same with basic needs and security. If you are not eating, you're not sleeping, things like that, you don't learn as well, while we can't directly help you, we can put you in touch with services that can. So if you have questions about that and you need help, reach out to the Dean of Students, or you can reach out to me and I'll be glad to speak to them on your behalf. All right. Schedule, pretty much this is set in clay. It's not set in stone. Right now it's set in stone, but things can change. I always tell students, I try to always tell them. I may not have in my 170. Sorry, any of my 170 students who are watching this one. But typically, schedules are never set in stone. They're guidelines of what we want to do when. So look here, week 1, the 10th through the 16th. We're going to talk about chapter 1 of our textbook, which is Race, Crime, and Justice in American Society. This kind of gets our background history, and we're going to talk about that kind of stuff. But please note, in red, secure textbook as soon as humanly possible. If you are in this class and you did not know there was a physical book, or you are in this class and you just didn't notice that you had to get a book for this class, I understand if it's delayed and you're not going to get it for a week. That's outside of your control. If that is the case, I am okay with the discussion boards 1 and 2 being late. That's kind of why I say secure textbook as soon as humanly possible. You will need the textbook for this class. I will tell you right now, if you find it somewhere for cheaper, I'm not going to argue. That's why I gave you the ISBN and didn't say, hey, here's where you buy the book. I will always encourage you to find books in other ways, shapes, and forms. If you are struggling and one of the barriers of you completing successfully this class is affording the textbook, please fill out. We do have textbook voucher like things. They are on our website. Go to ec3pa.org. It's assistance with like tuition and fees and things like that. You can ask for help with a textbook, because this is one of the only criminal justice classes where you have a physical textbook. So if that is a problem, please reach out, try that. If you need more help with that, please feel free to reach out to me personally, and I'll see what I can do. But typically, this first week, we're going to talk just about chapter 1. We're going to, ideally, if everyone has their books, do discussion boards 1 and 2. And then week 2, we're going to get into more of the stuff. Please note, I have additional readings in week 2 folder of Blackboard. Notice, almost every other one. Oh, no, it is every other one. Yes. So part of this class is that we are going to talk about real-world implications, real-world examples. So there will be additional readings in the folders for each week. It won't just be our textbook, but all those readings will be free readings available to you, and I will make them available as either web links or PDFs on Blackboard. But so starting in week 2, you will see readings as the first thing in the week 2 folder. They will be your additional readings on top of the chapter. Okay? So then from there, we will have complete discussion board 3, and then I'm going to have an assignment sheet in week 2 that I want you to read through and ask questions if needed, because again, this is the semester-long project, the Court of Public Opinion project, which your first thing that's due for it is in week 4, where you have to email me with the topic of your choice for the Court of Public Opinion project. I'll remind you in weekly update videos as these things are coming up. But I just want to identify, like, this is how this is being broken down. We're talking about this content. You have readings, not just from the textbook, but any readings on Blackboard are required for this as well. So, as always, the dates, the classwork, which is what is being talked about in the lectures and what you should read. And then we have in the homework category, this is the stuff that you need to complete that are assignments, 4 points, or in this case, read through the Court of Public Opinions. I want you to ask questions if you need them so I can make a video in week 3 covering any questions that you have and trying to clear that up. So that's the plan. This is the assignment. This is the syllabus. Everything is due by the last day of class, which is June 5th. So final exam is due by that day. The project is due that day, and discussion board 10 is due. So that's it. So real quick, do want to point out week 8, final exam, Court of Public Opinion project, and lecture. What can we do? So there is no reading in this text for it. It's technically a continuation of chapter 7's in week 7's reading, so we will talk a little bit about that, but we'll get there when we get there. Here is our Blackboard course for Race, Crime, and Justice. Note, please start here. This is where the syllabus is. Since this is a physical textbook, there's not a textbook link in here. When the assignment sheet for the, oh my gosh, I just said it like 3 times and I'm already forgetting the name. Court of Public Opinion, that assignment sheet will be under this folder, which is currently hidden. The course-specific content, that will be available here, as well as in the Week 2 folder. As of right now, at the time of recording this, you'll note, see right here, note this is currently empty, but will be populated soon. As I'm recording this, I have not uploaded things into here yet. But each week, in the folder you see right here, there'll be lecture video or videos, discussion boards 1 and 2, and note again, please secure the textbook as soon as possible. That is our first week. Things will be due by the 16th, and then starting the 17th, you'll move on to each one. And that's the class. This is very exciting. This is a general hot topic, and this is something that's kind of cool. I really want to emphasize the respect agreement in this course. This class and this subject in particular is very, very volatile. It's very, very aggressive and very personal for a lot of people. We are coming at it as academics. We are not bringing our own personal emotions in. We are trying to be as neutral as we can. I know that's really hard to do with things like this. So I'm asking everyone in this class to please be kind and respectful to each other. Know that some people have had very bad history with police officers. Some people are of marginalized groups that have been targeted by police in the past, as well as targeted by other, just in general, people. And some of you in this class have not experienced any of that. That is the reality of this, is that this is a difficult subject, and we are going to be coming from it. We're coming to this topic from various different places. Just try to be respectful of each other. End of the day, don't be mad at each other for anything. Don't attack anyone. Just be honest, and hopefully this won't end in a terrible dumpster fire. Anyway, that's this. Please let me know if you have any questions. Like I said, once again, this is the textbook. Put it to memory. Try to secure it as soon as possible. If you have problems obtaining it or finding it or anything like that, please let me know. I'll do my best to help you out with that. But otherwise, welcome to the class. This is going to be an interesting one, and I have been most excited looking forward to this class since we first put it on the books. So just simply because it's an interesting topic. All right. I'll see you all in the lecture video.